Everybody, how's it going? Marcos Villegas, Fight Up TV, being joined with Mario Barrios, who's taking on a Hall of Famer and a living legend, defending his welterweight title against Manny Pacquiao, coming up July 19th at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada. Mario, what's up, man?
What's up, man? Just here, another day in camp, another day closer to the fight. Yeah,
First question is, how's this process been for you?
it's been pretty crazy. Just like from the press to I guess like all the interviews to kind of just I guess the fact that I'm fighting Manny Pacquiao, like that soaking in. It's been fun though. It's been a good camp. But I'm definitely I'm looking forward to fighting and just getting this camp over with. It's been
Yeah,
long.
why? Why? Is because it's been long?
Yeah, it's been long, and again, just everything that comes with these big fights. Some people love it. They love all the media and going here and there for to do everything. I can't say I do, but it's part of the territory. So yeah.
Has it been like tiresome, like having to do as much? I would imagine you've done the most media you've done for I don't know, even the tank fight, right?
Yeah, honestly, but probably more.
How's it been?
Um, not the worst, but it's just answering a lot of the same questions in different ways. Some people have just like sillier questions than others. Uh,
What are
so yeah,
some of the silliest you've gotten, bro? Let me. I want to know now.
bro, I can't even think off the top of my head, but there's just some things that people ask. And I'm like, why would you? But yeah.
What'd you eat for breakfast, Mario?
Yeah, like things like that, man. And it's,
Yeah.
and it's like, sometimes they're so simple, but they just throw you off. 'Cause it's like, why would you ask that?
It's too bad you can't say that. Like, hey, what? Well, what? Why would
Yeah,
you
like
ask that?
what the hell? What's your problem?
Hey, man, how's it been with Bob putting together a plan for this fight? Has it been a little challenging, or it's been kind of like the same process?
No, it's been the same process, man. We got Bob Santos and Richard Barrientos. He plays a really big part in my corners, and I think just having both of their minds. Having Bob, with the experience, he's been around Pacquiao. He's done a couple camps with him or like around him, so he has firsthand experience with him. And then Richard Barrientos, man, is a really really smart coach. I'm really happy, to have him, part of my team. Uh, so things have been working smoothly together, and I think we have a good game plan right now. It's just up to me, just go out there, fight night, to try to execute it, because I also know it's not gonna be the easiest. Pacquiao he looks in phenomenal shape right now. People have been tagging me in all types of his videos and trainings and runs. So it's exciting. It definitely motivates me because it knows I have a live dog in front of me. This isn't just like some old man.
Yeah, he's been putting out a lot of content for his workouts. I'm always curious, like you, as opponents, as fighters, as rivals, like, do you check out like those clips that come out? Like, do you check out the videos that he does, the videos that we all like post of him on YouTube and on socials?
Me personally, I've never been one. I don't watch a lot of videos on my opponents. I don't know. I think it's just us, our jobs as fighters, go in there and be able to adapt. But like I have seen a couple of them. Like I said, he looks in great shape. He looks, like his speed, like the. It looks like the years off did him some good. Um, so yeah, that's why I can really like take from those or from what I have seen. But I myself, I don't watch like too much of it. Again, like I know I have a legend trying to fight for my title, and I think for me that's more than enough like motivation.
Yeah, is I know. Why is it that you don't usually like to look at the stuff? Is it to kind of just keep your head away from the comments, or is there like other reasons?
Um, Now I wouldn't even say that. I kind of just like don't care to. Like it doesn't motivate me more, or it doesn't like push me more, like seeing like my opponent or like who I'm fighting, working out or like pushing themselves. I think for the most part, I'm able to motivate and push myself, in the gym just based off of the the fight alone.
Okay. All right. I would imagine, sparring for a Pacquiao could be a little bit difficult, not because of the him being a southpaw, but because of the speed factor. Like, how have you guys like adjusted for like that part in camp?
Um, yeah, he's definitely he has a one of a kind type of style, and it hasn't been the easiest to try to like replicate. But it's just getting as many, like trying to get that southpaw, that fast, that twitchy style, as much as we can. Trying to get opponents, that can throw, sometimes 8, 10 punch combinations, just like. And so yeah, like finding the sparring for this fight, it was a little challenge at first, but yeah, we have we're closing out our last week of sparring, and I think me, Bob, Richards, my sister, I think everybody on my team, they're very happy with the amount of sparring and the rounds that we have been able to get in this camp.
So yeah, then well, I guess I'll put it this way: like, I don't think based on that, then you should be surprised with anything Manny does, or is it like, well, we'll see with the first punch how how that mimics the sparring.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like the like best way, right? Because I mean, again, we have been trying to mimic or trying to get the looks that Manny brings as best as we can. But still, everything it's gonna come down to fight night. I'm still preparing for the best version of like Manny that I can. I'm not going in there like expecting to be like facing an old man. And so yeah, I'm expecting him to be fast, to be moving. So yeah, I'm just expecting the best from him.
I would think because you're younger, that the later the fight goes, the more it's in your favor, right? Like, do you guys feel that?
I feel that I have confidence, and um the longer the fight goes, right? It's I mean it's my job to go in there and yeah, like make him feel like the old man, make him feel you know kind of in the most respectful way, like make him regret coming out of retirement, to face me. um but make him question it, right? Like why did I come back for this? um but yeah, I definitely I give the favor to me, as the round, I mean as the rounds go on. But especially too because Manny is known for being a fast starter. He's known from the first bell, he's coming out swinging.
Yeah, it's going to be important to be able to maneuver that speed, but also have your defense tight. Like, he caught Thurman in the first round. Like, even with some of the other fights that he's had in his career, he's caught a lot of people in those first 6 rounds. Hatton, he knocked out in the second round, but that first round was brutal for Hatton. With Cotto, by the fourth round, he was just letting his hands go. And granted, yeah, that was 10, 12 years ago, but Manny in the close quarters, that speed is still, I think, going to be there. It's just maybe he's not throwing 7 punches, but he's still throwing 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's definitely what we're expecting. Yeah, like we know he's dangerous, especially like in close quarters, and especially with his speed. And but I have always said, the the best the best way to counter speed is with timing. And I think I feel like I have that on my side, especially with my physical attributes over Manny. So it's just yeah, like my job going there, just try to neutralize what he tries to do very early on, and then just overall just assert like just assert and like dominate like in any way that I can.
I know you can't really tell until after the fight. I'm just curious, like if you were to compare like Manny and Tank, how different or how hard or how much harder the camp was and them as opponents are in there with you. I know you could speak to like the camp. Has this process been a lot harder, the same as your camp for Tank?
No, it's been pretty similar. Even like stylistically, that there is some similarities, not like everything, of course, but just the fact, with like, I guess with the like stature, or like getting like smaller, like left-handed opponents, that have very quick feet, very quick hands. That's been a similarity. But yeah, stylistically though, they're just so different. But there's just some things that they both do so good, right? With closing the like distance, for example. Yeah, just their hand speed, and foot speed. So there's been a lot of things that we've been able, to take, looking back at the like tank camp, and still applying it, to everything that we're doing right now. But overall, it still has been a very different camp.
How much better, or tell me how much more you've improved since that fight, and like what improvements are you bringing into this fight compared to maybe a year ago, year and a half, 2 years ago?
I think I'm bringing a lot of improvements, like into this fight, especially from that tank fight, just defensively, I think, stylistically, and yeah, and then now too, it's at, I mean, this fight's at welterweight, and I feel like now, I'm like a solid as welterweight, right? So I feel comfortable. I feel like I'm in my prime, and yeah, I feel like I have definitely, tightened up, on a lot of the things that would have gave me, like more success, if I would have been doing it like earlier on. So I think just overall, I'm a more complete fighter, and yeah, I'm looking forward to showing that come fight night.
Yeah, people base like the style matchups on like an opponent's like last few fights, and like Manny's last fight, he didn't look too good against. I believe it was like a Japanese or a Korean fighter. It was like a kickboxer. Before that, he had another exhibition where he looked a little fluffy, and then he had the Ugas fight. Like, I don't know, how much are you like gauging from like those past fights that he's had?
I'm not. We haven't been trying to gauge too much off of his like, especially those exhibitions. I think, this fight, you're gonna see it like a much more, I guess, like up to date version of like Manny. And he has said himself too. Because of his age, that 4 year layoff, it might have been, the like best thing for him. Even when I had fought Thurman, he came off, I think, like a one, or I think they're like a 2 year layoff, and yeah, he came back like very, very fresh, uh very sharp. So yeah, I mean, I like I said, I just been, preparing for the best version of Pacquiao. We're expecting a rested version, and yeah, so it's my job just to go and, ask all those questions, come fight night, but with what I'm able to do in the ring.
What's like your response to like people saying like this is the perfect like matchup for Manny? Like Manny usually does well against like tall fighters. He's historically done well with like taller fighters.
Uh, yeah, there's a lot of people saying that. I don't think my style is good for him. I think they're going based off of a lot of what they saw in my last fight. But there was a bunch of different things that went into my last camp. So like, it wasn't the most ideal type of camp for me, but I still went in there. Still very proud of what I was able to show. But yeah, I think, if they're kind of just looking at me as like a stationary, tall fighter, kind of a more like a style like Margarito, I think is what they're expecting. I think they're very not misunderstood. They're just, yeah. I just think that's the wrong type of expectation that they should be having for me.